Hey, everybody, welcome to Signals from the Frontline, your every Wednesday podcast by Frontline Gaming, where we talk all things 40K, what's going on in the tabletop gaming world. I'm your host, Reece. With me, as always, are the lovely and talented Frankie and Jake. How are you guys doing?
Doing great. Wednesday. Let's go. Podcast day.
Living the dream.
As always, man, it's good to talk to you guys. So this week we're going to dive into what's going on in the world of 40K, tabletop gaming, frontline gaming as well. We got a bunch of fun stuff to go over, but most exciting, return of the MAC, Las Vegas Team Tournament, coming back in January. Tickets are up for sale. Registration is open. Jake, why don't you tell people where they can find out more information about this awesome team event going on in Las Vegas?
Absolutely. So we got everything loaded up on the FLG Events Hub. For anybody that hasn't attended an FLG event this year, it's basically a new hub and portal for all things FLG events. So it'll contain information on like hotel room blocks, if there are hotel room blocks attached, notations on the specific events when there's multiple events going on. Obviously, LVTTs. It's always been like a 40K centric event, so it's a lot of fun. It's, let's call it, one of our smaller, more intimate events, but it still brings a huge crowd. Obviously, links to the tickets will be posted on the respective LVTT page, and you'll notice if you log on to the hub, we have
Which hub, Jake?
The event
hub.
Did I say a different hub?
No.
Did I say an inappropriate hub?
No. That's the only hub I know of as a married man is the FLG Events Hub.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you for clarifying and saving us. Anyways, the FLG Events Hub, we added the 2026 tab, so you'll notice there that we actually have all but one date. All but one date is published for next year's calendar. So I think that's the first time ever we've released like our entire save the dates, if you will. For the most part, like our events and stuff, like they follow kind of like a similar schedule, but like we'll change it here. We'll change dates here and there whenever possible, just to like accommodate for essentially like regional schedules. Like Lone Star Open, for instance, doing it the weekend before made a lot of sense because we have a lot of like school teachers actually that are involved in like the event itself. But Lone Star being the weekend before school starts, like literally like people are going back to school on Monday after day two, not ideal. So we shuffled that a little bit back. For Atlantic City, it's always been on Father's Day, which hasn't been great. So that's the weekend before Father's Day. So it's like closer to close enough to Father's Day to still like cash in that check, that card, if you will, of I'm going to go play for Father's Day, but it's not on Father's Day. So
there you go.
Yeah. But LVTT is a good one, man. I loved them. It was probably one of my favorite events back in 2021 and 2022. I think 22 was the last time we did it.
I think so.
I was at the Palace Station. It's so much fun. And yeah, we collaborated with ATC and officially partnered up with the National Tabletop League, so the NTL.
Ooh.
So fun stuff. I don't think anybody out there that plays 40K regularly at events doesn't know the name JD Carter. He's gone to like some 40 something events himself, like be it a TO or a judging capacity. So he's jumping on to help us with this and that's JD from Away Games and /ATC /NTL. I'm sure he's got some more attached to it, but
yeah,
it's super exciting stuff. And just like love interacting with the community whenever possible, and collaborations like this just only make things better, in my opinion.
Absolutely. And it'll be at the World Market Center, right, in the Skyview Terrace.
Oh yeah, that place is super sexy.
Yeah,
super sexy.
It's going to be quite the view, and it's going to be fun.
Yeah, it's elevated and has a stunning view from the venue. It's we can only fit 40K, and I know some people were expressing that they would love to see other games, and we would love to have other games too. And in the future, we could look to expand. But in the past, this was primarily a 40K centric event just because of space. And like Jake said, it's a little bit more intimate in the sense that it's just a 40K event, but it's always drawn a crowd of around 300 people. So really, really fun. The only reason that we didn't keep doing it is that the venue that we were at, we just couldn't make any money on it. So we just decided to put it on pause, but a lot of people wanted us to bring it back. And having a January event associated with Frontline Gaming in Las Vegas makes sense. And we were just waiting to announce it until we got closer to the LVO because we didn't want to have a confused message. Like, even though we did wait, I still see people like, oh, wait, there's something in January. So we wanted to hold off on that, but definitely don't wait to get your ticket for your team. We do anticipate it's going to fill up. It's going to be a really, really fun event. There's a bar in the venue. It's going to be a super schwanky venue. It's going to be really nice. And yeah, we're excited. We can't wait to see all of our friends, see how the teams show up. Hopefully that's one I can play in because, the baby should be, I think, hopefully we're at the point, if there's any dads out there, and Jake, the baby's coming next month for my wife and I, and I'm hoping by January we're at a place where I could sneak away for a weekend, but we'll have to play it by ear. Maybe I could be like a mercenary, like if someone needs me on the team.
Nobody needs you, Reece. Nobody needs you.
If you need someone to
question
put
is, does Brenda watch Signals?
No, yeah, dude. She's an avid 40K.
Yeah.
She watches all the podcasts.
We'll find out because when we were talking about it during our last meeting, I was like, "Oh, Reece, we need you out here. It's mandatory. We we need you to come run LVTT."
Yeah, we need your help.
Yeah, we have another of our teammates that's got a baby coming at the exact same time that mine is. So it's going to be interesting. At least I'll have someone to commiserate with.
Yeah.
Changing a poopy diaper at 3 a.m, dude, it's not great.
That's what you guys should do. Actually, just bring said baby with the baby carrier, right? And just do both. Play play and dad.
Yeah, with a newborn. Sounds great.
It'll be like the Ninja Turtles cartoon. Remember Krang? He's like a brain inside like a big body.
Buff guy. Yeah.
I'll be like, well, I'm not buff, unfortunately. So
you started in the gym there.
yeah, I have been lately. And if I look like I'm about to die, it's because I worked out in the middle of the day here, and that was questionable choice. It's almost 90 degrees, and
I think you're safe there because your island internet buffer is saving you from whatever blemishes might be on your face.
Yeah.
Good. Because I was like damn near had a heart attack. I went mountain biking in the middle of the day here, which is a questionable decision when it's like 88 degrees and 77% humidity. I was like hurting. So if you see me sweating, that's why. But yeah, the Las Vegas team tournament's gonna be super fun. I hope to be able to go. But if not, it's gonna be a great event regardless. So yeah, grab your tickets and put it on the calendar. It's going to be roughly around the same time that the LVO would have been. So a lot of people are used to coming out to Vegas at that time, and can't wait to see everybody there. Yeah, we're stoked to be a part of ATC's league and to help to continue to build on that.
No, for sure. Yeah, weather's still good usually in January. Well, something as long as it's not like raining or whatever. But Vegas weather.
Snowing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like I've been here like 20 plus years, and then I would say only a handful of times it snowed, but most of the time it's been in like the last like five years. It's the wildest thing. But weather's great for right now for anybody coming in for LVO. Like October is seriously like my favorite month. Well, it's September right now, but I'm saying like October is like my favorite weather month. Yeah,
it's still a little warm in September, and October is usually like perfect. Mm-hmm. But I when I lived there, I lived at the edge of the valley. And it was funny because every winter it snowed on my house. But if you drew, and I was up on like the rim of the valley, and if you drove down the hill, like 5 blocks from my house, you could see where the snow would turn into to like when it was just like slush, right? And it was like I was just elevated enough where it would always snow in my house every single year. And I would send people pictures, and people would be like, "I don't believe it, dude." Like, like, yeah, my house is covered in snow in Vegas. It was funny because I would let my cats run out in the backyard, and they would like jump in the snow and be like, "Nope," and like come running right back in.
Awesome.
Yeah, but definitely grab your tickets. We've already got some pretty healthy traction here, and we do have a cap at this venue because it's not at the convention center. So yeah, I would expect us to fit about what like three maybe 350 people total. So we're looking at a pretty healthy teams event, because it is 5-person teams, by the way, which is an awesome format. And then pretty much for next year, depending on like the post-event survey, we have that capability of doing like a 3-day event, but for kind of bringing back an event after 3 years with a date change, I think it was majority definitely wanted to just stick to that 2-day schedule, which makes a lot of sense, with the extra vacation time and whatnot. But yeah, grab those tickets, get your squad in, before they run out.
Yeah, we're open-minded to looking at other types like 8-man format and stuff like that, but we decided to stick with what we did in the past and just make it easy for people to put a team together. But yeah, like for all of our events, we do an exit survey, and if you want to see any changes, we're always, we're here to give you what you want. So just let us know, and we're open-minded to looking at different ways of doing things in the future. But we just kind of wanted to stick with what we knew and what the brand was associated with. But yeah, we're excited. Can't wait to see everybody.
Yeah, nobody wanted to go with my idea of one-man teams. I was like, come on, guys, one-man teams. Think about it. Everybody's like, isn't that singles? No, it's different. Different scoring. You can figure it out.
Well, speaking of other formats, the Long War doubles, I got to play in it at Adepticon. It's really fun.
Yeah.
Like it's really fun. So if you're coming to the LVO and you haven't tried it, I highly recommend it. It's on Sunday. Most people are not playing on Sunday. And like what I did is that my first round opponent at Adepticon, we had a really fun game, super cool guy. And he was like, hey, my teammate for the Long War doubles couldn't make it. He's like, do you want to just play? So like, even if you just show up at the event and you're like, have someone that you met that you kind of hit it off with, or like one of your friends was there you didn't know was coming, you can jump in and play at the event. I totally recommend it. It was a really fun event because it like totally changes the dynamic of the way you play. Like we were Eldar and Orcs, and like that combo worked really well. Like he would go up the middle, and then I would just like go jump on objectives and go around the flanks. And it's super fun. Really good format.
Yeah, doubles back in the day used to be my favorite format. That thing was always so much fun. So yeah, the Long War doubles have always been really popular at LVO. Kenny and Wyatt and the crew always put on a good show. So definitely check it out.
Yeah, but actually, the Long War doubles is the first event I ever played in at LVO.
Oh, really?
It was that's all I would commit to, because I just learned how to play 8th edition 40K like 2 months before. And so my buddy just made me a list. It was like Morty and 3 bloat drones, basically.
Just run forward. You're like, all right.
Yeah, and then my doubles partner was playing orcs, and like it was so much shooting, dude. Like he had so much stuff. So even in the 1,000 points. So yeah, like literally, I just had to move like 4 models around and stuff. It was great.
That's the way to do it.
I met Kevin there, Kevin Clow.
Oh really? That's funny.
Yeah, I clutch my saves too. Like so, I've been clutching saves since my very first LVO.
Dude, that's Kevin has the best little like expressions.
Mm-hmm.
Like half the things he says, I'm like, I don't even understand what that means, bro. Like he has like the younger generation like slang, and he always is saying the funniest stuff. I'm like, dude, what language are you speaking, man?
He's great. I played him
up enough. He's actually not that much younger than we are.
Yeah.
Well, Frankie and I were in a different bracket.
Yeah, you got to get it right. Yeah.
Almost thought you would get away with the not having a gray bush mention, huh?
Yeah, you know what? I embraced the bush.
Good. Got to.
Yeah, what's funny about Kevin too is he's like tier, like S tier Star Wars Legion player.
Yeah, he's super good. Yeah.
Like
He
how
won the
casually,
LVO.
I was like, he casually won the LVO because he's, being an employee, it's like, yeah, play until
Yeah.
you
Dude, he
drop
was
or whatever.
he was so stoked. So they asked him to be a commentator this year. So he's gonna be a commentator at in October. So he's all excited. So,
Oh, that's good, dude. That's awesome.
yeah.
But speaking of low model count armies, we got a balance update just a couple days ago, and it looks like everyone was really worried about Imperial Knights and Chaos Knights kind of like dominating. What do you guys think? They did kind of an across the board points increase. Do you guys think it's enough to temper people's concerns about Knights? Do you guys think they went too far? Do you guys think they didn't go far enough? Or is it like the bear in the middle where his porridge was just right?
I mean, I think they're going to be in the same place that they were, right? The armies that can't deal with them still won't be able to deal with them, which has kind of always been the Knight mentality, right? It's just a stat check. If you can beat their stats, then you'll usually do really good. The hard part is with the Forge Rolled Knights, it really throws it all off. Classic GW not getting Forge Rolled right. I don't think they've really ever gotten Forge Rolled right. So they kept in all of the Forge Rolled Knights because, I mean, if you took that away, that's like half the model count for a Knight's Codex anyways. But they kept them in there. They increased their points by like 40 points. So a lot of the Knights players that I was talking to are saying that they're going to lose like a Helverin. But other than that, their army stays the same. So you're still going to be seeing like triple Atropos and things like that, which unfortunately are so good just with the +1 to hit versus monsters and vehicles and things like that. And so they're, unfortunately, I think they're still going to be pretty good. Like I think they got toned down enough to where they won't be like, you won't see like 5 of them on the top tables, but they'll definitely be bullying the midfield and be up towards the top. So that's my hot take. It's probably all wrong, but
That kind of aligns with what I've been seeing other people saying, and I know just from my very limited experience when I played them in a tournament last month, I think it was, the Lancer was the one that was just cracking skulls for me, and then the Atropos was really good as well. But the Lancer was the one that was just doing work because he's so fast, hits hard, he has an invul save in combat. And then Canis Rex, they bumped up, I think, 35 points.
Mhm.
But for me, and maybe I was just playing him wrong, is like Canis Rex would die as soon as he got into combat with anything that was good in combat. Like not having that invul save.
oh yeah,
So I don't know, like going down one Helverin is like definitely significant because the Knights always struggle with, or they can struggle with objectives. Like what I found is that I would jump out on all the objectives, and then it came down to if I survived the next turn or not. If I did, I was going to win the game. If I didn't, I was in deep doo doo because you just don't have enough models to keep running onto the objectives. So, I guess time will tell. And you don't want to see them get nerfed too hard because then it sucks for all the people that have a Knight army. But you don't want them dominating. And like you said, Frankie, in the past they were always kind of like a gatekeeper army. It was like they didn't necessarily win the event, but they would go like 4-1. And like if you caught them on a bad mission, like in a mission Knights were good on, and you didn't have a way to deal with them, you were just kind of screwed, which isn't fun. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, I agree with your assessment. It feels like it was a light touch, which is in my opinion better because they can always do something again. And it's hard. Like balancing a game with you have wildly different armies is challenging. What do you think, Jake?
I don't think Knights have ever found like a just right spot. I think their porridge has always been too hot or too cold from what I've noticed. So I don't know. It'll be weird to see. I don't really think that they're going to be that affected. I still think that there's going to be plenty of presence, especially for like LVO. I think LVO is going to be a good benchmark for what we're seeing like after this pretty big update. Because well within like the date change for like all the rules cutoffs and stuff, but I don't know. I don't think it was as dramatic or drastic as kind of the meta expected. Yeah, I think what was it? was it Emperor's Children mainly that were kind of like waiting for knights to get a big tone down, just so that they can kind of like enter in more full force into the meta. But I don't know, man. I don't play Emperor's Children myself. Like I definitely know what they do, but I can appreciate them enough to know like they will definitely still die to some heavy firepower like that.
Yeah, it's like Reece said, like it's one of those armies that's so hard to get right because it's a low model count army, right? So they need to do enough damage that they're able to compete, but they also need to be able to be killed so that other armies can compete. So it's like it's such a hard balance to hit, and I think Jake's absolutely right too, where I don't know if GW's ever really gotten it right. Like this is what it is. And to be honest, I don't know if it's possible. It might not be possible in this game to get it just right because it is such a fine line that you have to walk so that they do enough damage but are able to also be killed and things like that. So I don't know. Maybe in the next edition or something like that, maybe it'll make it to where the knights just feel more right. But currently those big models are just, they're really hard to get right. And I think it's maybe an impossible task for GW to do.
It's interesting that the same thing happens, or at least from what I've seen, the same thing happens with like Eldar. It's rarely right where it needs to be, because I think, you know, they're fundamentally Eldar just break the rules mechanics of the game entirely, and that's always been their shtick.
Yeah.
So they're either like hyper overtuned or just
a little undertuned. Yeah. I think they're in a pretty good spot right now. Like I would argue that they're probably pretty like good where they're at. I'm sure hardcore Eldar players and stuff like that will be like, no, we need points decreases and things like that. But I feel like they've gotten Eldar pretty good at this stage. Now, obviously, with all the different detachments and stuff, some of those are unplayable. But that's with any codex, right? So of course you're gonna have like the little outliers, but within those good detachments, I think Eldar's not in a bad spot. Reece has been playing a lot of Eldar, so
yeah, I think Eldar are in a good spot. I think some of the units could come down in points, like Wraith units, for sure. Like it could come down. Like the Wraith Lords, I feel like are fine. I don't think they're great, but I think that they're like fair. The Wraith Guard, I think, could come down. The Wraith Knight. When was the last time you even saw a Wraith Knight?
This weekend, somebody brought it to our RTT. The shop.
So we had an RTT at Frontline Gaming, which make sure to check out Frontline Gaming if you're in the Vegas area. We have gaming events all the time, open play. So there was a couple goofy lists. Why don't you tell us about that, Frankie? Because Ben Jurek, who's like a really well-known player, he brought a Warhound Titan, and someone had a Wraith Knight.
Yeah, so somebody had a Wraith Knight, and then Ben had a Warhound. The funny thing about Ben is he played against the triple Atropos list in round one, and guess what? Atropos are really good at super heavies. So, and the best part was the guy that he was playing against, Isaac, was borrowing 2 of his Atropos. Yeah. I was like, man, that's karma for you there, Ben. I was like, that sucks. So he was Ben was a good sport about it. He was basically painting his Warhound the whole time, but his games were over in like 20 minutes. But he played all 3 rounds and had a good time hanging out with his friends and stuff like that. So yeah, he had a good time. And then there was a Wraith Knight. He actually played against the Wraith Knight, I think, in round 2. So that was pretty funny. Wraith Knight versus Warhound. Wraith Knight came out on top.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know if it was the Wraith Knight that did it, but I think it was probably the rest of the Eldar list that killed it. But
yeah, it was okay. So it was Matt Zealous.
Yeah. So it was pretty funny. So good times.
Yeah, because I keep debating. In my list, I have 1 unit of Fire Dragons with Fugan, and like I always feel like that's fine. You know, like that unit will, if it's positioned correctly, you can kill 3 tanks pretty easily in 1 turn with that unit. So yeah, I was kind of worried. I was like with Knights, I was like, gosh, do I need to like try and fit in some more anti-tank? But and with Death Guard as well, because they've got so many vehicles typically, I was like, maybe I have to adjust my list. But I don't know, like Eldar have always been typically have always been a high skill cap army. The only time that Eldar were seriously like, in my opinion, that anybody could play them was back in 4th edition. and you had the triple Falcon Eldar list that was mathematically almost indestructible. And so it was like you didn't have to be Napoleon to pilot that army to success. And then so sadly in 5th edition, they got nerfed really hard.
You missed Index 10th edition.
Oh, excuse me. Right.
Yeah.
Yes. When they did 1,000,000 mortal wounds. Yeah, that was absurd.
Yeah.
That was absurd. I wasn't playing very much at that point because that was right when I had all my personal stuff going on. But yeah, I guess, yeah, you're right. That was another time when you didn't have to be a savant of 40K.
Index Eldar is one of those, like, you can forgive, but you can never forget. It was crazy times, dude.
They pay for those sins always.
I remember reading that and I was like, wait, what? I was like, so a Wraith Knight could automatically make one of these shots a 6 and just wipe out a whole unit. I was like, this is so stupid.
Dude,
like,
I legitimately got like accused by a buddy for a quasi joke, but like it was pretty serious. But I actually got accused by like a friend to check my dice. But it's like, what do you expect? Like I can literally re-roll everything and manipulate dice on top of it. It was not fun.
Yeah,
like the odds of rolling 6s and like changing into 6s, like that shit was insane.
Yeah, and the weapon platform shooting you out of line of sight, like it was too much.
Yeah. It's funny because I remember
there was like 2 Wraith Knights and like 3 fire prisms on top of it that, you didn't need line of sight. It was like, dude, come on.
I remember when the Index came out, everyone was like, oh, it's the D cannons. I'm like, no, it's the Wraith Knight. I was like, this thing is going to be wiping out anything it shoots, infantry, tanks, it doesn't matter. But it's funny because that reminds me of when Frankie and I were helping make 8th edition, and we went over to Games Workshop, and within literally an hour of reading the rules, we were talking to the devs, and we're like, mortal wounds? I was like, all you're going to do is spam mortal wounds, and that's going to be the meta when the edition comes out. And sure as can be, it was like, how many psychers can I fit in, or things that do mortal wounds? And that was it. And it's funny too, to circle back around to what we were talking about earlier. In addition to Knights and Eldar, to your point, Jake, it's also Flyers, right? That's the other one that's so hard to get right. They're either oppressive or they're horrible. And like right now, they're horrible. You don't see them at all. But there's been times, especially like in early 8th edition, when it was like, or in 5th edition, when you just had 3 Flyer armies that were just dominating. And Eldar have been guilty of that too, at times when you have a bunch of Eldar Flyers. So anytime you have a unit that sort of like breaks the rule as its rule, or is like completely like counter meta, is like kind of like their design philosophy, like Knights or Flyers, it's extremely difficult to get them correct, right? Like as a game developer, I don't envy their task in trying to make them feel like the thing that they are, but also not having it be unfun to play against. It's just really difficult.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, we've talked about it ever since we started Frontline. Like the amount of balance that GW is able to do in this game is very impressive, because with every different army having different rules, different things, like just imagine trying to balance that. Like it's probably impossible, but they get it pretty, like where the game's actually playable, right? So that's a pretty good job. Yeah, of course they're gonna miss stuff, they're gonna get things wrong, but if you really like take a step back and really look at it, you're like, okay, wow, this is pretty impressive what they've done. It's at least playable. Even when something's super broken, the game's still very playable, right? So
yeah, I agree. And like we're coming into a time when they have access to a lot of data, right? Like the GW app is amazing. And what I would do is I would build a database and then look at the armies that are winning, and then looking at the units that they're taking, and then using that and then all the inverse of that as well is looking at units that they're not taking, and then focusing my tweaking efforts on those, making data-driven decisions like, oh, okay, everyone's taking unit X, maybe we should look at making adjustment. Nobody's taking unit Y, maybe we should look at boosting it because that would increase sales. And then also going, nobody is taking these detachments, perhaps we can give them a little bit of a tweak. And I think the player base would be really happy with that. Nobody wants to have a model that sits on their shelf for 3 years because it was a waste. It doesn't make any sense to take it. So hopefully we're coming into a time when they'll utilize these tools that they have to make more data-driven decisions to fine-tune the game. It's a double-edged sword too, because people will kind of complain like, oh man, I just got all this stuff and now I can't use it. And they've gotten really good at like making those adjustments quickly, right? So like if you're a savvy player, you want to wait, like kind of chill a little bit. Like when the codex comes out, like chill maybe for a little bit, like let it settle down before you make a big investment. And I think if they continue to do that, build trust with their customer base, they can make those tweaks and just continue to make the game better and make more units viable and more detachments viable, which makes the game more fun, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think the hardest part for them though is they don't have all of that data, right? They have the list building data, but they don't have what games are being played with what lists. So I think that's kind of hard to like take that data that they currently have and like break it out, because I don't know about you guys, but I probably have 10 different lists in my phone for every single army with a bunch of different units, right? Yeah. So when you look at that data, it's kind of misleading because it might not be actual games that are being played. Whereas if they had like the Goonhammer app, the Battles app, that gives you what army, or that actually doesn't even tell you what army or units. So basically you kind of have to combine both. So if GW is able to come out with an app that's able to combine both those aspects, then I think they can really dive into the data a lot more. Unfortunately, I think right now they probably have to base it off of sales of products, which is also a slippery slope, right? Because you have people that just collect the models, you have people that paint the models, like you have people that may never even play with that unit, but they bought it to have it on their shelf. So it is really hard to like, until you have something that encompasses all of it, I don't know how you really break out that data. So that's my view on it.
No, that you make a good point in that they don't have direct access to the list data in tournaments and associate it with win-loss. But that's a good point. However, it would be really easy to get it. You know what I mean? Like just reach out to any of these companies that is aggregating all this data, and it would be pretty easy to take it, combine it, and then build a really useful database. But that is a good point, Frankie, is that most people are not using the GW app to actually run their tournaments because it doesn't do it yet.
Yeah, well, it's not even just tournaments, just like playing with your friend or whatever, like how you use the Battles app to do your scoring. If the GW app encompassed that and then you imported your list into that, now they have that data, right? But to my knowledge, nobody even tracks that. Like BCP tracks lists, but they're not built out lists. They're in a spread, or they're in a PDF format. So basically you really have to like dive in and kind of change the way that data is collected. But if GW is able to do that, like you said, that would be probably the most useful tool for making new models, revising rules and things like that. I could see if they were savvy enough to do that, they would make a ton of money.
Yeah, it would increase sales, right?
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
Like the little tweak I just mentioned, like even though it's relatively minor, like if you made Wraithguard like 20 points cheaper for a unit, they would be like, in my opinion, they'd be pretty viable, right? And like that inevitably will lead to an increase in sales, right? Mm-hmm. Like, and like those little tweaks, which you could do really easily, especially now with like AI, right? Like you could write a script pretty easily that would like go scrape some of the data off of another app, obviously with their permission or paying them or whatever, and then you could aggregate it all really easily. I don't like. There's probably like a dozen developers that are listening to us speak right now. Like, yeah, I could do that in like a weekend. You know what I mean? So
yeah, for sure. It's just I don't think it's even on GW's radar to do it. So they're probably like, eh. But
well, you know
what?
I was saying, if you're an enterprising person that would like to make some cash,
there you go. Go get it.
Because like GW likes making money, and if you're like, I'll help you make more money,
it might be a sales pitch.
So at any rate, good to see that they're continuing to take an eye at the balance of the game. They take it seriously, and I think it helps build confidence in the player base. And whether you agree with all the changes or not, they did something, which is good. We just had the Hell Smiths of Hashut, or the Hashut Hell Smiths, aka Chaos Dwarves, sold really, really well. So that'll be exciting to see them on the table. I really can't speak intelligently as to if they're good or not.
They look
The
cool.
comments, they look amazing. They
Yeah.
look amazing. The comments I've been seeing online is that they're pointed low. So people were laughing that it's going to be a really expensive army. But they look amazing. So going to be excited to see those on the table. The Age of Sigmar, as we said a million times, the Age of Sigmar side of the room is typically the best painted. So I'm looking forward to seeing what people do with that army. That looks exciting.
It's such a.
And,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no, it's okay. Go ahead.
I was just saying it's such an interesting take. Just talking about GW a little bit more is how much love and care they put into the Age of Sigmar models. These models always just look incredible. Like every single model they launch, you're like, man, this is incredible. And then you look at new Drukhari coming out. You get one new character model, and she's okay. You're like, thanks a lot, GW. Great job. Well, I guess you get two. You get a new Archon too, but it's like, come on, guys. Like, give us these Chaos Dwarf models. These things look amazing. You're like, nah.
Yeah, dude, the Space Shadowheart. That was insane. Like for anybody who's played Baldur's Gate 3, like their character, everybody and most anybody with good taste romances is Shadowheart. And as soon as somebody said that, I was like, oh my god, I can't unsee it. That is definitely her. But that's a good segue, Frankie. I'm sure you've read the Drukhari leaks that have come out. What do you think about him as a longtime Drukhari player?
Man, I was hoping for the stars. I was like, come on, give me something, because every couple months I'll put my Drukhari on the table and I was like, nope, they're still not what they were, unfortunately. I think there's really only one player that really makes Drukhari work, and that's Scary up in Canada, and that's just because this is the only army he plays all the time, and he does relatively well with it. Like we've always said, if you master an army and you play it over and over again, you really don't make changes. You can usually play around bad matchups or relatively bad rules, things like that. So he does a pretty good job. But I like to remind myself that I'm not Scary, and so I'll play the army, and I'm like, oh no, they're terrible. I'm not playing this anymore. So I had high hopes because it's my favorite army, and looking at it, a little disappointing. So they changed up the pain tokens, which I think everybody would have agreed that the original pain token mechanic was not great. You can get full rerolls to hit, which is cool, but you have to spend them, and they're a finite resource, right? So you can only gain them when you kill a unit, or if you somehow forced your opponent to fail a battle shock check. And that was pretty much it. So it was a finite number. You're like, oh man, this is not great. So anyways, they changed it. Now you don't start with any. Before you started with 3, which was kind of cool. Now you start with 0. So that's a good start. It's a good start.
That's painful, bro. You're forging a narrative.
Yeah, it's a pain token, baby. But you gain one at the beginning of your command phase. So that's kind of cool. And then you gain them the same way. So you kill a unit, you gain one. Battle shock, you gain one. The reason that this mechanic is not great, in my opinion, is you look at all these other army rules like Death Guard or Knights or whatever. You just always have your army rule. It's always there, always available. Your unit gets it no matter what. The hard part with a resource like this is you have to spend it, and you only gain it by doing certain things, and some of those things aren't exactly easy things to accomplish, right? Even the yield points from Votann is a better mechanic than this, because they gain yield points by standing on objectives, and they gain them on your turn and your opponent's turn. So they're gaining more and more and more, whereas the Drukhari, you have to kill a unit and you gain one on your turn. And that's your army rule. So like if you don't have the pain tokens, you don't get to use your army rule. And every unit now has a special ability underneath their data sheets, which is awesome. That's really cool, but it's only activated by using a pain token. So it's just such an unfortunate thing. Like they could have done just so much more with it. Unfortunately, it's the last codex to come out. So of course was probably a little bit rushed, things like that. So yeah, so just looking at it from that standpoint is really unfortunate. And then they took away some of the units that grotesques are gone. So that was a long time unit in the Drukhari codex. Beasts gone. Those are no longer there. So they lost a few units, which is always unfortunate to happen to a codex, especially without getting like a new cool unit. You got your character. Would you call her Shadowheart? And she's interesting. Like she has some cool rules, but one of the main things that I'm like, why did you do this? Is her. So she has no guns. She has a sword and a fan. Yeah. And
Gotta stay cool. Gotta stay cool, bro.
Her sword has hazardous, which means every time she fights in combat, she has to roll a dice at the end, and she has the potential of taking 3 wounds.
Dude, hey man, you're feeling that's forging a narrative.
Or is it? It might just be one for them. I don't know. But anyways,
are you feeling the pain as the player?
Yeah, you're getting those pain tokens, baby. I wonder if you kill your own model with hazardous, does that get you a pain token? We'll have to look into that. That would be funny. You're like, yes, a pain token. It was worth it. It was worth it the whole time. And then from what I've been seeing from a lot of the other Drukhari players and stuff, their detachments are just kind of like not great. Like from what everybody's saying is you're really going to be playing Reaper's Wager, which was the Christmas or the Grotsmas detachment. So it's like, okay, cool. You're not really going to use, unfortunately, any of these that are in here. Junior really liked the Homunculus Coven one. He thought that one has some play. But again, with you losing grotesques, it's a pretty big kick in the shorts, especially for that detachment. So yeah, they did some interesting things. Like, again, we'll have to see how the games go and see how they really do. But you're just looking at it, and there's like not a whole lot of rerolls in the army. Again, they're going to suffer from the same thing where they're kind of a glass hammer. Like, I wouldn't even call them a glass hammer. It's more of like a glass, I don't know, needle. Like, here's a little poke. And then you're like, oh, and your unit's dead. You're like, oh, sick. That was great. So, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how they do on the table. I'm sure people are going to be like, oh, no, you're wrong. But they made like Hellions a little bit better. So that's cool. They have Lance. That's a nice change. Witches actually look like they have a lot of play. They're going to suffer again from only strength 4 or strength 3. So that's always going to be one of those things that they just suffer from. They're like, I'm winning most things on like 6s. Great. Might have a lot of attacks, but you're not going to be able to do much with it. So it's unfortunate. I think they could have done a lot more with it, in my opinion. But I'll hold judgment until we play some games with them.
Yeah.
So anyways, that's my hot take on them.
Yeah,
I have no
played
take on
against.
them. I did not actually read the leaks. I think the last one I saw was like full blown potato cam. So I was like,
I can't read
I don't
any
have
of
time for this.
Yeah, dude, I had people like blasting me like, what is this 1990? I was like, we didn't have cell phone cameras in 1990, bruh. So back on you. But I was like, I didn't take these pictures. I was just sharing them, man. Like, I had people like,
It's pretty hardcore how many leaks are happening now. And like, this is an entire codex leak. Like this is literally pictures of the entire codex. And this happened before with like knights and everything else. You're like, geez Louise, what's happening over there?
Was this one? Was this the one, or was it the previous one where like homie, whoever took the picture, was like,
that was the last one,
like a foot bath, like a foot soak?
Yeah, that was the last one. This one, the guy's got some gnarly nails.
That's pretty baller, man.
Yeah,
dude. He was hoping Quentin Tarantino would see those, dude.
Yeah,
he's a foot guy. In case anybody was wondering why I said that. All right, just throwing that out there.
He's an interesting guy. That's for sure.
Yeah, well,
I did not know that, but chalk that up as the thing I learned today.
There you go.
Yeah. So now, whenever you watch his movies, you will notice
there's a
the amount of beautiful women who have their feet.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's like every movie. Every movie they've got their shoes off at one point or another.
Yeah.
I have to rewatch one.
Yeah.
So I played against Drukhari a couple weeks ago, and even though like they definitely felt underpowered, like the thing I was impressed with, even though it goes totally counter to the lore, was the sheer amount of units that they have. Like I was like started to lose. I was winning, and then I started to like lose the game. Well, I still won, but it wasn't by as much as I was expecting. Because like there was just so many. It's like blow up this little thing, another little thing comes out, and then like sometimes two little units come out, and I was like, bruh, and they're all objective. They're all OC2. I was like, I just can't kill them fast enough, and it's like totally viable strategy, but it does not make any sense with the lore. They're like they're like. Yeah, it's like, what are you, the Soviet Union of the world, or like just throwing your guys to die, even though like you basically live on one planet and you're a dying race. It doesn't make any sense. So, but that, I was impressed with that, and then the scourges with Haywire, those were pretty gosh dang good, and like at least then the witches had all these layers of buffs that made them get to be like. They could be pretty good with some pain tokens and some stratagems and stuff. So, yeah, I don't know. It's kind of a disappointment. I was hoping to see more units, like some like new stuff. So, if I was a Dark Eldar player, I would probably be a little bit disappointed.
Yeah, you lost models and gained a character that has hazardous on their weapon. You're like, oh, sweet, thanks.
Cool.
Thanks.
It's like the old demon weapons.
Yeah,
where like you had a chance to like. What? This is the stupidest rule ever. Like, I might kill you and I might stab myself.
Dude,
like,
Abaddon was always so funny because you'd be like, oh, God, here comes Abaddon. Oh, man, he's just going to pick up my whole unit. And then you roll a 1, which means he'd poke himself in the eye, take a wound, and he wouldn't be able to attack. You're like, yes! Oh, my gosh! I can kill Abaddon now.
Like, dude, I get it because, like, they were drawing it from, like books where it's like, oh, if you have a demonic sword, you never know what it's going to do. And it's like, okay, I get it. But when you're playing a game, that is not, if you're playing a competitive game, that's not fun. If you're playing a cooperative game, it's super funny.
Yeah.
Right. Like, but yeah, I don't know. It's kind of disappointing. That's kind of the vibe I got from most people. And to your point, Frankie, like matchless agility for Eldar is awesome. It's always awesome. Like there's never a time when it's not good. You're like, oh, you can't overwatch me. I'm going to go faster. Like, you try to leave combat, and I'm going to go right back into combat. Like, it's just awesome, right? Like, all it does is make the game more fun to play them. Mm-hmm. And then with your car, you're like, turn 1, nada.
I got 1 pain token, baby. Let's go. Who's going to use it? You're like, oh, my gosh. And, like, the hard part is, like, some of the pain tokens you use in the movement phase. So you're like, okay, cool. I used it in the movement phase. Now I've got no more pain tokens. All right, cool.
I'm feeling the pain.
Yeah,
I'm feeling the pain.
Yeah. And then there's like 1 detachment where you get like 2 for each like Archon and like all this stuff. So you can start the game with 6, but it's not like the best detachment. So you're like, all right. I don't know. It's really weird. Oh, and then the best, I didn't even touch on this, but one of their other detachments, which one is it called? Kabbalite Cartel. Sounds awesome, right? You put out like a hit squad on like a character or a monster, or like a special infantry unit, and then you gain a special rule until you kill that unit. Once you kill that unit, your contract's completed, and obviously then you just lose your special rule, so it's just gone. And then the only way to get another contract is, I think there's like an enhancement or something that you have to take. So basically you're like, oh, I killed my unit on turn 1, which gave me this cool special rule, and then now I killed it and it's gone. Like, who designed this? But you do gain 3 pain tokens when you kill that unit. So,
well, I mean, fair and balanced.
Fair
and balanced, baby.
Worth it,
dude. You know what that detachment should have? If they really want to go edgy, they should have the fentanyl gun.
No, dude, that'd be great.
The cartel.
That'd be great, bro. Yeah. I don't know what they were thinking with that one, or maybe I'm just completely reading it wrong. But somebody correct me if I'm wrong. But I was reading this thing, and I was like, oh, cool, you get a special rule. And then when you kill the unit, what do you get? And they're like, oh, you lose your special rule. I'm like, so you don't really want to kill that unit. You just want it to be alive the whole time. You're like, all right, interesting.
So you pick the worst unit that's going to sit on the back of the deck.
You're like, is that the unit that's sitting back there? All right, cool. I'll take that unit. They're like, all right, sweet. They're going to run at you. You're like, no, stay away from me.
I charge you.
It's so weird, dude. So weird.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we're wrong, and hopefully Drukhari are really good. And, we'll see. maybe with the balanced data slate, they'll make all the units like ultra cheap. So you just have like 1 billion of them.
Fingers crossed. They're like,
Yeah.
buy one, get one free. You're like, all right, cool. Maybe you can make this work.
So we did have some feedback from some of the listeners, which we're always appreciative of. Ganny NJ says, excited to be so close to Fremont this year for the LVO. You're right, none of the locals hit the strip. The Video Dome over Fremont is the best. Hopefully there's some free shows going that weekend. And the Video Dome, for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, when you go down the Fremont experience is what they call it. It's wild, man. There's like this giant, like, I don't know how to describe it, like video screen light show thing. And there's like a zip line that goes down it. And it's like humongous. It's like the size of a street. So that is really cool to check out. Cramped 32 had 2 comments. Wow, so excited to know that Vallejo is going to be at the LVO. Most of my models are painted with Vallejo products. Thanks, FLG, for bringing them. And do you guys have a map of the events in the convention center? I want to know where to park closer to the entrance. Thank you guys. Keep up the amazing work. And Jake, I think anywhere you park is going to be close to the convention center, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, the parking's free for attendees, for LVO attendees. So the whole garage is attached. So you just take the elevator down or even like walk across and stuff. But yeah, pretty much at anywhere is like close.
Yeah, exactly. You basically just go into the elevator, come down, and then you'll just walk down the hall and it's right there. So yeah, super easy.
And also personally love Vallejo airline as well. So I'm super stoked about having them there.
Yeah.
I never realized how much better they are. Yeah, like the air paints, like for airbrushing, are like, because like half of the pain of airbrushing is cleaning the airbrush, thinning the paint. Like it's such a pain in the butt. And when I actually used the air line of paints, it was like, it makes it like literally like 3 to 4 times faster because you're not constantly cleaning the brush. Like so much better.
Yeah.
And finally, Columbus152 just says, great to see you guys back.
Woo.
It's good to be back.
Yeah. We're happy to be back. Back, baby. We just need buses. Makes it all right. Just need a bus.
Yeah.
Maybe like 5 minutes.
You know what it would be cool is if we had a coqui in the background. That's like Puerto Rico's national animal. And it's like the most soothing sound. Like at night, it's these little frogs.
Yeah.
And at night, they make a sound. It's like, coqui, coqui. It's like the best sound. Every time I leave and I come back and you're driving at night and you can hear them, it's like, It's like such a soothing sound. It's like so nice to go to sleep to.
Yeah.
So I'll see what I can do, guys. I'll see if I can get a coqui. So that's
have him as a co-host on camera.
There you go.
Yeah, no, it's funny
challenge.
because when we first moved here, I was like, what the hell is making that noise? I had no idea. Thought it was like a bug or something. But it's like these cute little frogs, and I was like, oh, that makes it even cooler. So that's it for this week. Did you guys have any other shout outs or information you wanted to share before we wrapped up?
Nope. I think that's good.
Yeah, just a reminder to everybody to always like comment either here on tag us on Facebook, Instagram, wherever you want, and we'd love to engage with you guys. And we've got this little thing called like the LVO that's kind of taking up our time right now. But definitely after LVO, like we were talking about how we're rotating in like guest segments for sure. And so I think exciting stuff, like Frankie was saying, like it would have been great to invite Scary on for this to talk about Drukhari, for instance, because he knows way more than we do.
Yeah.
But like rotating in like guests like that. So, with that being said, if you have someone in mind that you want us to coax into chatting with us on Signals, drop it in the comments, and we'll do our best.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed the show. We will talk to you all next week, and we hope you have a wonderful week.
Sweet.